Okay, good evening, Bitcoin tonight. Well, I'm going to have a look at some charts tonight. Very interesting tonight. Some of the things I've noticed tonight. Going to have a look at Bitcoin, then we're going to have a look at some of the market cap charts. The total market cap without Bitcoin, and then the dominance. So Bitcoin first, all on the same time frame today. The daily chart. So Bitcoin from the lows in March the 14th, the Black Thursday event, March the 12th. We had a big run up in Bitcoin. We consolidated a little bit during the end of quarter two in June. We consolidated along this line here, and then mid July another big run up in Bitcoin. We've just had a correction which went down nicely and hit the 100-day moving average. And we've battled the 100-day moving average for days here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. A couple of weeks there, battling with the 100-day moving average, which was also just below the 236 fib at 10,434. And in the last couple of days, we've broke above that and closed above that line. A couple of days now on the trot, as you can see there. We've come up and touched the 20-day moving average. And that has been a bit of resistance so far. This line here, this blue line here. So it'll be interesting in the coming days to see if we can get above that. And then the target will be the 50-day, the 11,269. The 20-day coming down below and sloping down is bearish. It's beginning to start to go level again. So it's beginning to turn. Now, if we can go up and test this 50 and break through that, these averages will begin to slope upwards and they will go into the right order again. I find the Chaikin money flow is always a great indicator on Bitcoin. The volume has not really told us much, but there's some interesting developments on the volume in the total market caps that I'll show you shortly. Now, when the Chaikin money flow is above zero, it's positive. So we had a big, because if you go back to last year, we had a lot of time negative and battling very low positive all the way here from October to January. We were low on the Chaikin money flow, which is an indicator of bullish or bearishness. So we were pretty bearish then as we bottomed. We double bottomed in December. I think that was the bottom of the market. So then we really started to begin to look bullish in January and February, and we came right up to 30, which is a very positive read. Last year, we didn't get much higher than 30. We got to 37. And then we came down again, but very quickly we went bullish again on the Chaikin money flow. And we've been up to 26, and then we went back down to negative and then back up quite quickly again with highs of 32. This recent correction, there were warning signs as we began to come lower and went down to 18. And we went negative, but we're back into positive territory and going upwards again. Going upwards. So it's always interesting to keep an eye on that in Bitcoin. If we can get above, as I say, if we get above the 20 moving average there, which we're battling at the moment, close above it, the next target is the 50, and these averages will start to slope upwards again. Next chart. We look at the total market cap next. That's everything, all the altcoins. No, that's not the one. It's all the altcoins and all of Bitcoin. And we've got the volume. Interesting that the volume is in an uptrend here. So when we dipped down, interest remained high across the board in crypto. We had a lot of money on the sidelines, a lot of money into options and people buying the dip. And we touched again on that 100 moving average. It's not talked about as much as some of the others, but you can see here, perfect test of the 100 moving average. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 times we tested the 100 moving average. Then we closed above it, and we've closed above it again and again and again. And on this chart, we're battling the 20. The the 20 moving average, which is at 327 billion, and the 50s at 339 billion. So we're way above the 200, which is a sign of a bear market when we're below that. The Chaikin money flow, again, is positive. It never went negative. It's up at 11. Highs last year of 24. We've had higher this year where we had 25. So we're also at the fib 2236, 319 billion. So it'll be interesting to see if we can get above the 20 moving average, and we're looking like we're above the 236 fib there. Right, next chart. Let's look at excluding Bitcoin, because the altcoins did have a pretty meaty correction. Went all the way down, touched on that 100 again, on that 100 moving average. And now we're battling both the 50 and the 20. And which is exactly on the 236 fib as well, 128 billion. So we're not talking mega corrections here. You know, you do expect, we did come down actually. We did come down one day and got real good support. The day we came down was the 5th of September. That was the lowest day, the big sell-off day. And we came down, we tested the 382. The all-important 382 at 110 billion. I was thinking we could be going to below 100 billion here, from highs here of 156 billion. I thought we might dip below 100 billion in altcoins. But no, we've come back up and we got above the 236 fib. But today, Bitcoin has reasserted itself today, as I'll show you in a minute on the dominance chart. We remain positive in the CMF. I think there's more upward momentum to come here. I'm of the belief that in quarter four, we're going to see more upside than we're going to see downside. Interestingly, the volume here has also been highish during this price dip. Sometimes you'll get a dip and you'll get low volume. Well, the volume has continued to rise, and I'll be interested to see quarter four this year. It's usually go time in markets. In crypto in particular, quarter two and quarter four are the strong ones, and usually quarter one and quarter three are the weak ones. Well, we picked up nicely here in quarter three. And when you do that, it reminds me back to 2017 a little bit, and 2016. I don't think we're going to have a 2017 blow off top this year. I think we're going to have a build like we did in 2016, and then next year will be an interesting year. We could go right up in quarter four, up from October to December. Then we could slightly have a pullback quarter one, and then quarter two, 2021. I think it's going to be very interesting. I really do. I think from April to July 2021 is moving time. I wouldn't be surprised. Bankers bonus is beginning of April. I think there's a lot of upside movement to come in 2021. I think we've had a 29-month bearish market where we had a bull trap last year. We went back to bear market bottoms. And I think there's upside momentum. I think we've come down here perfectly and touched the 382 fib on the altcoins. I think once Bitcoin has done its thing, I think the altcoins will move up and we'll go beyond highs. Those highs there are way higher than we managed last year during last year here in June when Bitcoin topped out at 14K. That was 141. We've been higher than that this year, whereas in Bitcoin, we haven't been up and scaled those heights yet. We had an altcoin momentum break in January, and that was a sign. And then we've had some real strength here. I got in May the 14th, and I've had a good time since then around this time here. And we've had a great big bull run in altcoins, in some in particular, more so than others. But yeah, in late July up till middle of August, we really had good strength. across a lot of the DeFis and the altcoins. So that's how I think we're gonna play out. I don't think we're gonna have long to wait before these altcoins begin to make their way back up and beat these highs here, and return up to these levels here of April 2018. That's going to be a big resistance point, I fancy, around the 258 mark for altcoins. And that was a bull trap, a really big bull trap in altcoins. We had a rally in Bitcoin from 6 to 10, but some of the altcoins, I mean, Ethereum went back up to $800 at this point, and people thought it was the big market back again. We had the banker's bonus here, and then we went right up. I'm looking at this to be the next big point in altcoins, where we could perhaps run all that way up to there, to 258 from where we are now. That's somewhere up here, and then have a correction in Q1. I wouldn't be surprised. That could happen, and if that did happen, I'm holding 70% of my portfolio, 65% of my portfolio is Bitcoin. But in the altcoins that I have got, if they do run up this high, that's a big scope for big gains, really big gains. And you're looking maybe Ethereum to get up to nearly 4 figures, if that is the case. Right, next chart. Let's have a look at Bitcoin dominance, BTC dominance. We've had a real bearish run where the altcoins have been really gaining strength from May. I got in around here, and this is where Bitcoin lost a lot of strength, and altcoins have really been on that run. We could have seen a double bottom here. Gone down, gone up a little bit, then a double bottom. And Bitcoin could be in for some sort of revival. It's at the 786 fib if you draw the fibs the other way around from the top to the bottom. And we're touching that perfectly now. Yesterday, so an hour ago, we got rejected exactly on that Fibonacci level, which is dominance of 61.12, 61.22, and Bitcoin could run up here to 62.98 dominance. That's quite a big run up, and altcoins will probably sit still. And Bitcoin, if Bitcoin does get to that point, you're looking at a price of Bitcoin going over that all-important 50-day moving average. We've also touched on the 50-day moving average here, and we're finding resistance here in Bitcoin dominance on the 50 moving average. We went down below the 20. Yeah, we went below the 20. These averages are all facing down because we've had a long bearish run. They're all in the order that you'd look at in a bear market, because we've had Bitcoin dominance top out 4th of September 2019. And since then, Bitcoin's been in a bear market in the dominant stakes, really. And these moving averages we're way, way below the 200 moving average, which is at 64.65. We're touching on the 50, which is 61.19. The one above that is the 100 moving average, which is at the same point, basically, as the 618 fib. So Bitcoin could run up to those if it gets through this 50-day moving average. Bitcoin could really gain some strength in the next few days. I don't think the altcoins will tank if Bitcoin gains strength. I think most of them will sit still and lose little bits here and there. And then it's knowing when Bitcoin tops is really the key to success in crypto. You need to know when the Bitcoin dominance, when it gets to here, 62.98, you want to be thinking about getting your Bitcoin holdings into altcoins pretty fast, because once Bitcoin tops, there's usually always a pump in altcoins. If Bitcoin's had a good run up, the altcoins usually pump, and it's knowing when to go into your altcoins. And, if Bitcoin gets through there, it could run all the way up and get to the 200 and find issues there. Or could it go to 65? If that is the case, I think we're looking at a price of Bitcoin at 14K, the way the market's looking at the moment. And that has been resistance going back to 2017, December 2017. So yeah, if Bitcoin gets to there, we're looking at a price of 14K Bitcoin. And then you really want to be looking at, that might be a big resistance point again, and going into some altcoins. Because I think once Bitcoin gets to that price and we've got that amount of market cap, which will be about 400 billion total market cap. We looked at the totals earlier and we're about, 339, are we? 3319, something like that. 322. You'll be looking at maybe 400 billion market cap total. So when that gets to that stage and Bitcoin has a correction, it can't just keep going up. If it goes up, like I say, we had a high of 384 recently in the middle of August. Since then, we've been on a little bit of a correction where we went down. We had sort of a double top. And there could be another wave down here. Like I said yesterday, there's down 1, 2, 3. They're usually doing 3 or 5. So, Bitcoin could still, this total market caps could easily still come down, at least test the 100 moving average at 303 again, or it could come down to 280 for the fib, 278. Whether that happens or not, I don't know. The Bitcoin dominance is usually a sign that Bitcoin could gain strength and go on a run here and perhaps get above. Let's look at specifically Bitcoin quickly. Bitcoin to get the highs, reached highs of 12,500 nearly. It could go and test that in this if it gains dominance and runs. At the moment, it's actually, let's have a quick look at an hourly chart, because at the moment it's hit. I noticed it hit a fib earlier on a different chart. It hit a fib and got rejected quite firmly from that fib. Let's have a look at a shorter time frame and see what's happening at the moment in Bitcoin. We've lost that moving average there. It was really hugging this moving average, and it's lost that in the last, since the close. The candle since the close, Bitcoin has come down and lost that, and it looks it's going to close below it. This hourly candle, which began at 1 o'clock at the close. If it gets above that before 1, it'll be a change of story. But right, let's have a look briefly at a fib on this, because this could also be hang on, we'll get rid of this. We don't need this on a short time frame, and we don't really need that either on a short time frame. So we'll clean up the chart a bit. So 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There, 5 waves down. And then 1, A, B, C, D, E. I don't think it is going that way. I think an F, if it does become an F, the F is going to go down. So that could be the E, F. So there is still scope for Bitcoin to come down there. Let's quickly get the fib. From the highs to the lows, it lowed there really. There was a lot of touches on that 21-week EMA. As you can see there, it's perfectly now finding support at the 382 right at this moment. It's come down, it's touched that 382 there at 10,679, and it's found support there. It's been up to the 50. See, Fibonacci's are very accurate, very good forms, really, really good.